It's the end of the Empire as we know it, but do we feel fine? Let's talk about Foundation Season 3, Episode 6. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and I'm here to talk to you about Foundation Season 3, Episode 6, The Shape of Time, which is coming to Apple TV Plus on August 15th, 2025. It is the sixth episode in Foundation Season 3. Does it tell us what shape time is, and does it meaningfully advance the story in good ways? My hot take is I think you should watch it, although I didn't love this episode as much as the other ones. I thought it was a solid episode. I thought it had, some interesting plot developments, some new alliances that were formed, some really great music and effects, but I didn't love some of the explanation. It happened in Foundation Season 1. Now it's happening again in Foundation Season 3. But overall, it's still good. This has been a good season. I've liked the season a lot. So this doesn't damper my enjoyment of the season, but it's just not as good as the other ones that we've had. So all that being said, I'm gonna tell you a little about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, and you might not, there are some fun surprises along the way and some interesting twists. I would turn it off when I get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. Let's when I get to those spoilers. So, so Foundation episode 6 starts right after the events of episode 5. Remember in episode 5, you had the kind of like, I don't know, great betrayal. Gaal used Dawn to have a enclosure over Calgan, but the Mule, I guess, anticipated this, knew this would happen, and used it to basically destroy the Imperial fleet and to destroy the reputation of the Cleon dynasty. So she used Dawn to weaken the Empire so that Foundation could grow bigger and I guess be more in line with Harry Seldon's predictions. This didn't go over well for Dawn. It might not go over well for Gaal, and we find out a little bit more about what happened in this episode. So, things I liked about this episode. The first, I still like Torrin and Day. I like, Torrin's character is growing on me. He was, kind of a playboy, kind of a dandy, I guess. I don't know if dandy's an okay word to use, but he felt kind of like he didn't care. Now it feels like he is more interesting, and especially his wife Beta is very interesting. So I guess Torrin, Beta, and Day. I also like Day. Lee Pace is one of my favorite actors, and I just love his character. He kind of goes up and down between whether he is just kind of like a druggie, which he kind of is in this episode, or if he's more calculating. So I'm enjoying seeing that kind of like dichotomy as well. Second thing I love the music. The music has been really good, helps with the dramatic moments, helps to kind of build the mood, and there are a lot of dramatic moments in these last few episodes, and the music is definitely contributing to all of that. The third thing I love the schemes. You've got some schemes in here. This whole season has felt more on the scheming, more on the like grand warfare scale than the previous seasons of Foundation have been. So I am enjoying that. I'm enjoying the larger scale, the grander kind of like consequences that we're getting here. The fourth thing I love, I still love the effects. It's such a good season. It's such a good kind of show. The effects are great. The locales are great. You get to see some interesting places, and everything just looks really good and really polished. And the last thing I love the ending. It is another kind of cliffhanger, impactful ending. So get ready and buckle in. So all that being said, things I didn't love as much, I already mentioned it. I didn't love some of the explanation. Look, Foundation season 1 had an interesting premise that everything was like, oh, it's based on the math, and Harry Seldon had all these calculations, and because I know the math, I can know the future. And then all of a sudden, Gaal basically got magic powers. I mean, they called it mentalics. She's a mentalist. She had mental people. There's whatever, telekinesis, telepathy, I guess. Eh, I liked the math. I liked the logic. Now we get an explanation here that again feels off, but it's okay. It doesn't ruin my enjoyment. It's another one of those like cop out kind of explanations. I'll go into that in the recap. So, all that being said, Foundation episode 6, season 3, episode 6 comes to Apple TV Plus on August 15th, 2025. Like I said, I think you should watch it. Definitely check it out. Definitely check out this season. It is a really, really good season so far. If you haven't jumped on Foundation, there's a lot of backstory that you're going to have to watch, but I think it's worth it because I have enjoyed every season so far, and season 3 might be my favorite so far. So, if you check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So, if you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So again, I'm going to go in basic, chunks for the different factions, even though they kind of intersperse throughout the episode. I like to kind of chunk them together so it's easier to talk about. So we'll first start with the Mule. There's really only one scene with the Mule proper. He wakes up screaming. was like, oh, what a baby. Like he's supposed to be this all-powerful, omniscient super god, essentially, and he wakes up like crying. And he's talking to someone, I don't know, maybe like an advisor, and he says basically that Pritchard is a mentalic too, and he gave the mule a name to this face that's been haunting his dreams. He has to destroy Gaal Dornick before she destroys him. So that's the mule. Mule's proper. So now on to the Empire. We've got Day in the Mycogen sector. He looks like he's at a rave. He's enjoying it. He's enjoying his freedom. He's enjoying like not having to be part of Empire. He is like trying treats. He's exploring down here. He's fascinated by it. And he makes his way to Song's place where she doesn't seem to know him. He takes off his disguise, and then she gets very, very quiet. And you're like, oh, maybe she recognizes him. No, I mean she recognizes him as Empire, but she doesn't remember anything else. Remember, her memory was wiped. Demerzel wiped her memory, so she doesn't remember anything. And she asks, like, why are you coming back here? Like, did I do anything wrong? And Dave's like, no, no, no. I brought your memories with me. He downloaded them from the like memory bank. And so he has her memories and he wants her to remember, but she says no. She says she has a life here and she doesn't believe that they were in love. Day tries to convince her some more, but I guess Song called someone. And that person comes in and shoots Day with like a stun gun. And Day's like, whoa, stop, stop. And she shoots him again with a stun gun. And then we find out that that Song's real name, full name, is Songbird 17. And she can't love him because this person who came, this female person who came and shot him, is Ocean Glass 49, her life mate. So boom. Was it all an act? Was Song always acting? Was Song infatuated with Day and maybe wasn't what she expected Empire to be and fell in love with him only to have that wiped? Was she using Day all along to try to find this robot that her religion is going for? We don't know because that's the last we hear from this storyline. We will see what happens next. So over in, I'll call it Foundation 2, or with Gaal. Remember, Demerzel showed up at the end of the last episode and said hi to Gaal Dornick. She said it's been a very long time. Demerzel's the one person that would like remember Gaal, except for Harry Seldon. And so it's been 300 years, but now they're finally back together. Demerzel says that Dawn is dead. Basically, she said that his nanites stopped responding about 6 minutes after he was blown into space. So it seems like maybe Dawn is dead. We will see. And Gale's like, oh, like whatever. Just make a new one. And this again, Demerzel's been showing her emotion throughout. And here she screams at Gaal, like, I raised him. I watched him take his first step. So again, Demerzel has more emotion, is becoming, I don't know, more human. She kind of goes back and forth because before when she was talking to that confidant, she was explaining something and the person's like, it sounds like you're human. And Demerzel's like, you're assuming that I think like a human. And here, she is kind of thinking like a human. She's not thinking of like a robot who has spares, who have the full memories in the background. She's thinking of this Day, who she raised, and she is getting emotionally upset. So there might be some credence to this thing. Like Demerzel wants her freedom. Demerzel is getting more independence. Demerzel is kind of like rebelling against her programming. I think that there is going to be something there long term. Now, we find out some more history between Demerzel and Seldon. Apparently, Demerzel helped Seldon make psychohistory. Her data was used to complete his calculations because she agreed with his overall plan. And that's why Seldon gave her the Prime Radiant, because they had worked together in the past in secret, I guess. And then it says all of this while she's holding Gaal like by the throat because she's angry at Gaal for killing Day and not answering her questions. And Gaal says that she's been part of the plan, that Empire has backups for their Cleons. Why wouldn't Foundation? Gale's Foundation 2 is like a backup plan in case Foundation 1 fails, which it kind of has. So she says that she's been hunting the mule and that she has to, work now because I guess in 4 years, I think it was 4 years, there's going to be a battle and the mule will try to pry the location of Second Foundation from her mind. That's the scene we see where the mule's holding her up by the throat saying like, where's Foundation 2? Kind of like Christian Bale style. So then Demerzel shows her the Prime Radiant and shows the like inflection point that no one can know what's happening. And then she says she's going to hack Gaal and see what she knows. She's going to willingly hack Gaal. She's not going to do it by force. Gaal allows it because Gaal wants to show Demerzel what she's seen so that Demerzel can add it to her calculation. So she hacks Gaal, gets to the vision of the future, realizes the battle, this future battle is on Trantor and in the Imperial Library. She wants to see what's after all this. And so she goes even further, and that's when we get this like weird space scene where Demerzel and Gaal are like looking into space and there's nothingness. And then Gaal wakes up like she's being like shocked. And we find out that Demerzel suffered a system failure, which caused a mini EMP, and that caused Gaal to suffer a heart attack. So Demerzel woke up, resuscitated Gaal, and when they're talking, Demerzel heard something that Gaal hadn't heard. Like she had seen this vision before, but she didn't realize what was going on. Demerzel heard a frequency that humans can't hear. It's the rumblings of a black hole. So Demerzel says, you've given me some of your vision, so I'll let you live. And then she gets a message from the galaxy out there, and we find out that the Mule is attacking New Terminus. That's the Foundation scene. Now we're on to the Traitors / Foundation 1. Over here, remember the Traitors were going to go to talk to Foundation. They're going to use Magnifico as a bargaining chip. So Beta and Magnifico talk. And again, Magnifico Gigantus is a silly name. Every time they say his name, I laugh, but it's fine. His character is a little bit comic relief, a little bit strange, but he's a character at least. So Magnifico's worried that Foundation's going to separate them, and Bea's like, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. When they get to New Terminus, they're about to get attacked as they're trying to dock, but they say they're there on behalf of Pritchard. And so when they get there, Pritchard sees them, and Randu immediately attacks Pritchard. They fight a little bit, and then they make a truce, and then Imber comes and talks to them. Imber and the Traitors start fighting about the guerrilla war that's happening until Torrance speaks up and says, like, the Mule is coming. He's coming for Foundation Empire, and Magnifico is a key part of it, and that Magnifico can help them. So they agree to let Magnifico play for both them and like other thought leaders, influential people in Foundation. And he plays his Visi Sonar, which I guess is his instrument that allows like magic music to come. And Foundation and the Traitors, who are all there in the room, realize that Magnifico needs his instrument to use his powers. Now, is he a mentalic? Maybe, I guess. I assume he's a mentalic of some sort, and he uses his instrument to soothe, affect emotions, similar to how the Mule uses mind control in a blunt force way. Magnifico seems to do it more subtly. And during this time, when they realize Magnifico has powers and uses his instrument, an eclipse happens, and the vault finally opens. Seldon has returned. So everyone goes to New Terminus to see Seldon. Seldon talks about how Foundation and the Traitors' animosity were inevitable, and then Torin asks about the Mule. And then Seldon looks at him and is like, what's the Mule? Then a message from the Mule comes in. He's talking to all of them. He talks to Seldon. He says he's controlling their ships, like the Whisper ships above them. He's gonna take over New Terminus and then march on Trantor. And that's when Seldon just kind of like nopes out of there and puts the null field back up. And you're like, what? Like, Seldon, how do you not know about the Mule? I guess that explains why there's that inflection point in the Prime Radiance calculations, but I think he would know about the Mule, and you think he would at least help them, but no, he just like nopes out of there, puts the null field back up. People run from the vault. Beta passes out. Torin grabs her, carries her out of the area. As is happening, the Whisper ships are fighting each other, shooting each other, crashing all over, and then the vault seals back up. And that's the end. That's the end of Foundation episode 6. So again, remember I mentioned the thing about like the explanation. I forgot to like really go into this during the Foundation part, but Gaal mentions that she can see the future and the past because when they were doing some sort of like jump, she is supposed to sleep, but she woke up during the jump and she saw the ship going at light speed, which let her see time. And then she took that time and wrapped it around her like a blanket. And you're like, come on, Gaal, like you are this super mathematician. Just say, I know all the calculations and I picked the most logical ones, the most reasonable ones. I use Seldon's math along with my own. Something like that. Don't say like I saw time and then wrapped it around me like a blanket and now I can like see the past and see the future. That's kind of a lame explanation, but it's fine. So, questions. What do we think is going to, well, first question, what is Seldon going to do? Seldon has been prophesized to come back and lead everyone in the Foundation and do all this stuff. And now he's just like, I don't know what the Mule is. I'm out. That seemed lame. That seemed very weak. That seemed pathetic from Seldon. Seldon has always known what is going to happen. Seldon's always been ultimately cocky, ultimately knowledgeable. It's weird that he would just nope out. I don't understand that. I would assume he would at least sit around. Maybe he just wanted to protect the vault because he knows it has to survive. I'm not sure. But that was pretty lame. Is the Mule going to take New Terminus? Probably. The Mule seems to be able to take anything. But what are we going to do with all these people that are all these important people that are on New Terminus? What are they going to do? Are they going to stick around? Are they going to leave? Are they going to be able to leave? Does the Mule now have essentially a blockade on New Terminus? I guess we'll see. We didn't even see Dusk. What is Dusk doing during all of this? He's the only Empire left. He's going to be suicided soon. What is he going to do? And what is Empire going to do? Demerzel is out here like talking to Gaal, causing heart attacks, causing EMPs. Is she going to replenish her roster of Cleons? I don't know. Is she gonna have time to do that? I don't know. Are they going to be able to because everything's getting blown up? I don't know. I guess we'll see. What will Magnifico do? Because remember they said that the Mule was able to take Callaghan because of Magnifico, because Magnifico's music calmed everyone. I guess that's at least what their explanation was. It's like I know my calculus. The Mule plus Magnifico equals world takeover. Well, Magnifico was there. The Mule's still able to take over New Terminus. So we will see what happens. We'll see if Magnifico can play a part. Maybe Magnifico can play some music and counteract the Mule. That would be cool. If they had like a mental battle where the Mule is trying to get the ships to destroy, and Magnifico's playing music to get the ships to fight back, and they eventually attack whatever his ship is called, like Black Rift or Black Dart or something like that. That would be cool. All these questions happen, and I guess maybe predictions. What do we think is going to happen next? Well, I think that Dusk is going to stick around. I think Dusk is going to break protocol. He's been wanting to break protocol. It feels like he wants to break protocol. So I think he's going to stick around at least until a new batch can come. Maybe he'll stick around and they'll make a new Dawn and Day, and he'll stay for a little bit to help mentor them before he eventually moves on. Day, I don't know what Day's going to do. I feel like Day is going to maybe offer up Demerzel to try to win Song over. He is just an X factor, and now he is fully surprised. I think he kind of felt like he knew his plan. He was always calculating. This is new information. This is something he hasn't really done. Gaal, she has to survive. She has to leave. I assume she is going to get Pritchard, and they're going to bounce out of there. Maybe with Torin, maybe with Beta, maybe with Magnifico. They're going to like form this new alliance to fight the Mule. They all seem to recognize that the Mule is important. So maybe they will then form a new core of Foundation 2 with the traders and Gaal and her Mentalics. They're going to come together to take on the Mule. Those are all just kind of like loose predictions. I don't know what Demerzel's going to do. I mean, one question, we don't know. Can Demerzel be controlled by the Mule? I don't know. I mean, he can control people. Can he control robot? My guess is no. Maybe Demerzel will be an X factor. Maybe Demerzel will be important to taking out the Mule. And now that she's seen the future, she knows what the Mule's going to do. She can help. That'd be an interesting one too. So that is Foundation Season 3, Episode 6. Like I said, definitely think you should check it out. It's been a good season so far. I didn't love this episode as much, but it's still a good episode. It's still a good season overall. So if you do see it, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And thanks so much for watching. If you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.